What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So, if you become an expat, if you leave the US, do you love your country? And I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to answer it in two different ways, but I've had people post this comment before, and we're going to talk a little bit about the comment, the latest comment that I saw, and then we're going to talk about the fact, do you love your country? If you leave the US, for financial reasons, and that's most people are leaving for financial reasons, do you love your country? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, on this channel, we talk about money and retirement. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime you put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. So Brenda posted a comment, and thank you, Brenda. And I appreciate everyone's comments, okay? And I'm not attacking you, Brenda. I just want to bring this to light because there are a lot of people that feel the same way that you do. So Brenda's comment, and this is based on a video where I was talking about considering moving to another country. So if you're at retirement age, or even if you're not at retirement age, there are a lot of people who are younger who are realizing, you know what, it would be cheaper for me to move out of the country and live somewhere else. And so, as well as people who are older, who retired, who are on a fixed income, they realize the same thing. You know what, this could help me financially if I move to another country. And so I post that video, and in the comments, Brenda said, no, I love my country. And that's fair. Loving your country is one thing, but my question is, if you leave the U.S., do you still love the U.S.? Could you do both? Could you leave the U.S. and still love the U.S. is basically what I'm asking, the question that I'm actually posing. And I think it would be much like you're in a situation where you have family members, they live in one state, and you decide for financial reasons, you decide, I'm going to move to another state. I'm going to move an hour. I'm going to move 5 hours away. It would be the same thing, in my opinion, okay? And so you would still love your family member, but you, for financial reasons, would have to move to another place. And this is the same thing. This is the same situation. You've lived in the U.S. your whole life. You've worked in the U.S. You've paid taxes. You've earned money. You're now at a point where you're retiring, and you're starting to get Social Security, you're starting to get money in retirement. And because you have that freedom now, you decide, you know what? It would be better if I moved to another country. I could save a lot of money on rent or on a house, because let's face it, in the U.S., especially right now with inflation, houses are at all-time highs when it comes to the groceries, when it comes to gas, when it comes to everything. Things aren't good in the U.S. right now, financially. And so if you made that decision to move, does that mean you don't like your country anymore because you've moved? Or you've just said, you know what, financially, this makes sense. And so that's what I'm trying to express to you guys. It just makes sense. It makes sense to move to Colombia. It might not make sense for everyone, and I'm open with this. I'm telling you guys, look, I love Colombia, but I can't live here full time. I have obligations in the U.S. And that's why I've made that decision to do 50% here, 50% in the U.S. And for some people, they might not have those same obligations in the U.S. and they say, you know what? I'm going to move to another country. That doesn't mean you don't love the U.S. That just means that you're looking at it from a financial perspective. And from a financial perspective, it just makes sense. And you can live a better life. And if you're in retirement, you should be living your best life. You've been working all these years and you've gotten to a point now where you can retire. You should be living your best life. You should not be living paycheck to paycheck. You should not be struggling. You should be able to live. If you want to live on the beach, you should be able to live on the beach. And so that's all I'm saying. And I don't think it has anything to do with not loving your country. I think it just has to do with financially, this is the right thing for me to do, and this is the right thing for a lot of people out there. They look at this and say, hey, this makes sense for me to do this. And then the other question that I want to pose when it comes to you loving your country, is your country reciprocating that love? And we know there are a lot of people, especially that are receiving Social Security right now. A lot of people living under the poverty line. We know there are a lot of people that are struggling. They've worked 30, 40, 50 years. They've gotten to the retirement age, and now the retirement that they're receiving, the Social Security, if they're only receiving, especially if they're only receiving Social Security, they're not able to live the life that they were living before when they were working. And we know Congress goes back and forth, and they don't really do anything to help these people. And we're talking right now about this whole solvency issue when it comes to Social Security. We're talking about the fact that in 12 years, the trust fund will run out of money, which means a reduction of money for people on Social Security. And that would be a disaster. Right now, it's bad for a lot of people, but you can only imagine 12 years down the road, if they don't do anything, if Congress doesn't move forward, we're looking at a situation where you're going to lose another 23% on the money that you're receiving right now. And so is your country taking care of you? Now, I know it's very controversial to say that. How is your country taking care of you? But let's face it, how is your country taking care of you? Is the U.S. taking care of everyone in the country? And we really have to ask ourselves that question. And we see, this upset a lot of people, but let's face reality. We've seen money come from the U.S., go to other countries. There's a war in Ukraine. We have money that's going out to Ukraine. And you have politicians on both sides agreeing on, yes, we should be sending billions of dollars to another country when we have people struggling in the U.S. and living below the poverty level. And there's not much help going out to them. Okay. And this is money that's being lost. Okay. This is money that's going to another country that's not coming back. At least if you're investing in people in the U.S., that money stays within the U.S. But we're seeing situations where money does go to other countries. And so that's another question that I have. Yes, you can have love for your country. I think that you can live in another country and still have love for the U.S. But when we look at things, if you're really struggling, if you're really at a point financially where you have to leave the U.S. and go somewhere else, why can't you get that help in the U.S.? Why do we have people in Congress that choose to send money to other countries but not keep that money here to help the people that need it? And so that's the other question that I have, or the other question that I'm posing. So I want you guys to sound off in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this. But the reality is, when it comes down to it, I think you can love your country and live in another country, or you can love your country and visit another country for 6 months out of the year, or what have you. If it's for financial reasons, you have to do what's best for you. That's the reality. And if it's not best for you to live in the U.S. because you can't afford to live in the U.S. or live the lifestyle that you want to live in the U.S., you can look other places. I don't think there's a problem with that. That's why we have passports. The U.S. government is providing passports for us, and other countries are letting us know, hey, you can come stay for 6 months. I can come stay for 6 months. No questions asked in Colombia. And a lot of countries are the same way. We have this agreement. So we can just come, I can come on a tourist visa and be here for 3 months, and then I can renew that and be here for another 3 months. And let's face it, this is another thing. When it comes to Social Security, if the U.S. government was really, really against people going to other countries and living in other countries for periods of time, people on Social Security, they would put a stop to it. All they need to do is say, you know what? We're not going to be able to send checks to you if you're in another country. Okay, there are only a handful of, actually not even a handful, there's only 2 countries right now, North Korea and Cuba, where they will not send money. But everywhere else they'll send money. And so when it comes down to it, the reality is the U.S. is okay with people leaving the U.S. and living in other countries. And so ultimately, I just want to know how you guys feel about this. So let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.